Evening, gang. Happy New Year to everybody out there. 5 days late. Todd Lee there. Wardrobe, myself. Now it says McMurray in the title, but McMurray, being the consummate law enforcement official that he is, ended up having to work tonight. And we had previously scheduled this, but we realized bumping heads with old Ardwolf was probably not a good idea. We might get like one viewer, and that would probably be me having YouTube up to count the number of viewers while Ardwolf was on. So look, everybody's done this. You know, y'all. There's a bunch of channels out there that have already done their year in review. I don't think ours is going to be exactly the same, but we're going to talk about a few of the games that we played. And if you look in 2022, and if you look in the description of any one of the on Facebook or on YouTube, you'll see the 5 items that we're looking at, and the last one is called scale. And then below that in the description, we have what our scale is from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the highest. And we kind of made a little fun out of it while we were doing it. But we're gonna talk about a few mediocre games. We know what McMurray played because he had to give us his list because he's not here. I don't know what Todd's got on his list, and Todd doesn't know what's on my list. I've got 20 games sitting here in front of me on my list, and I know I played more than that. Didn't play all of them to the end, but played quite a big chunk of them. But I'm going to hit on 3 or 4 of those. And then we're going to give you what each one of us considered a bust for us personally, for each one of us personally, and what we consider to be the primo game that we played. Mark, you're good to see you, Mark. It really is. Tim, Manny, Mike, glad to see you. Jeff Anderson, we got Chuck on here and Steve O on here. If you're out there, you're popping in. Hey, say hello in there so we know who's here. So we're going to get this started. I'll tell you what, I'll take the first one, and I'm going to bring it up. I got it up on my other screen over here, and this is going to be the first 2 or 3 that you'll hear from each one of us are going to be just, games that we played that were okay, maybe a little better than okay, maybe close to awesome. Mostly stuff that we probably enjoyed playing. And my first one's probably going to blow your mind. So I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. I'm going to solo myself. And
just real quick before we
got, we good? Can you see it good?
Yep, Men of Iron.
Men of Iron. Way outside of Hexy's realm. But I enjoyed the mechanics of the game. All right. And we had some questions that we were going to try to answer with this stuff here. And one is, if you looked in the description, we talked about the appearance and the components, the rule book, the sequence of play and the game mechanics, the replayability and solo ability, and then, of course, our scale. So it's a GMT game. And I can't think of too many GMT games that they have done that I have bought, that even older ones, where the components of the games just look awesome. And, I mean, this game is the components are awesome. I don't know who did these, whether it was Roger McGowan. He does a lot of the artwork and stuff. But I know they have a few guys do counters. I know that Mark Simonich does counters. I know that Charles Kibler does counters. But the components of these games, it just seems like GMT gets it right with the thickness of the counters, the sheen of the counters, and for the most part, the alignment, so that when you clip them, everything still looks good. And they always have great informational counters in the game. Rulebook, pretty deep because they stuck 3 games in this box. So if you're into, I guess this is what, medieval, 100 Years War stuff, you're getting 3 separate game systems. Well, they all basically function the same way, but they're 3 separate games that were packed into one box. This is like the Death Valley box for GBACW. This thing is loaded with scenarios. You could play these scenarios all year long, okay? The sequence of playing the game mechanics, I didn't find there were no headaches with this game at all. I didn't find any. The way you did movement, combat, missile combat, it was just smooth. And once you started doing it, it was so simple. I never had to look back at the sequence of play list to remember what I was doing. Replay, solo ability, fine. I cannot say anything negative about it. The solo playability is perfect. If you're just like me who plays most of your games by yourself. And replayability, yeah, because one thing I noticed they do with a lot of these games is they stick variants into the scenarios so that you can, change up. Like the game I played with Wallace, where he got his butt handed to him, they gave you the option to, what do they call those things? They're little turtle things that they did. that you could change that up, because in the historical fight, they stayed in those formations and they never moved and got their butts handed to them. Well, they provide optional rule in there where you can allow them to be aggressive and move. So replayability, great. Changes up every time. All right. What did I rate this game? I gave it a 3 on the scale of 1 to 5. And for us, a 3 is I would definitely punch and clip this game because it would be a keeper. All right. So there's one for Hexy. Let's drop off here. And I'm going to go back over to bring the screen back up here. Todd, let's hit on
well, real quick. Would you you think you'll play some more of this in 23?
Oh yeah, definitely, because I want to. The scenario list is so deep, and I know what this game's going to lead me into playing GBOH, which I have a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I definitely will, because I got there's some games in there that I recognize the names of, like I think Bannockburn's in there, and there's a couple other ones that I told some of the subs that I would play them, and I will play them this year coming up. It's a good system, and it's weird because I would have never, in my right mind, ever thought I would have liked something like that game right there, but I really enjoyed it. John Howley, good to see you, brother. All right, Todd, let's hit. You want to hit on McMurray first, or you want to hit on one of yours first?
Yeah, let's do McMurray's first real quick.
All right, so
because you can just stay on me.
Okay.
So McMurray shared his. No, that's not gonna be that.
All right.
Just keep it on me. We don't have anything to share because McMurray just shared notes with me. So I'll do my best McMurray here. No, I can't really do that. Yeah, you say, suck it, Jeff. You're terrible. South sucks. Just sorry, McMurray, if you're watching. All right, so I'm looking at his notes, and I think I want to go kind of backwards.
Okay.
From like his least favorite to his most. So I'm just checking it. Okay. Not his least favorite, because that we're going to talk about later.
Right.
We'll talk about our duds. So he played a very interesting one that, well, it would be totally bizarre if Jeff or I played it, but it's not bizarre that McMurray played it. So remember, McMurray's a miniature player, and he's just come into this hex encounter thing. Gosh, was it this year? Maybe, or it maybe last. Well, I guess last year maybe, but like 21. I mean, it's not been very long.
Yeah. And he was kind of heavy this year, though.
Yeah, this year he really got into it, and I think he acquired a lot of games and stuff like that. So he also likes kind of, very bizarre. Like his miniatures go from caveman dinosaurs to, I wouldn't say space so much, but kind of, anyway, he's all over the place. So to hear that McMurray's one of his games was War of the Worlds by DVG did not surprise me. So this is kind of it's a little Euro-y, but it's also a war game. So I would say it's the most Euro game he's played, at least in this kind of realm. Oh, you looked it up? That's cool. He does like Victorian science fiction. So he and I, like, he put together a Mars, like, the old, like, John Carter type of stuff, Victorian Britain and on Mars type of situation. So he likes that era. So this really fits his thing. Of course, he's a well-read individual, so he knows War of the Worlds and all that. So he really digs that. He said it's a solo game, which he did not know going into it, and that's not probably normally what he would play, because he just does like Jeff and I do and just plays both sides. But I assume, I didn't ask, but I think you play the humans, because then the aliens probably just have a pretty much determined track. They're just trying to take over England there. He really, right. But I think he was fine with the solo functionality. Let's see. He said it just worked well. It was a cool concept and setting, and I can see him even, well, I don't know if you could really play this in miniature so much, but I could see him trying to convert some of it to miniature. But anyway, he gave it, so my worked well. Oh, so he gave it 3 to 3.5 Thunder Children. And I was like, Thunder Children? Thunder Children is the name of the ship that was in the game, apparently. Thunder Child. So anyway, he gives it a 3.5. So pretty good. He enjoyed it. Sounds like he'd probably play that again. Actually, you know what? I was going to ask if he won as the humans. He probably did, but I am curious because the way he plays games is so aggressive that I would be interested. I should have asked him. I totally forgot. Maybe he'll pop on there if he's in a break or something. Tell us how he did against an AI or whatever solo bot thing.
Yeah, because I remember he was going round and round about whether to bring in, because he had to evacuate the humans out of the areas and stuff like that, the civilians, and then had to fight these tripods, and you never knew where those tripods were going to spawn at, and the big 3-legged robot thingies or whatever they were called.
Yep.
He had fun with it. There was no doubt about it. So
yeah, for sure. Okay.
We said he gave it a 3 to 3.5. So he said he would punch and clip that game in borderline. He wished he had 2 copies of it. If he had 2 copies of it, you know what? McMurray can miniature that game. There's no doubt in my mind he can miniature that game. Use the board, but have better miniatures.
Well, I could see him doing it in 2 mil. That could be a good one on that because you could almost play on that map. So anyway, so that's McMurray's. So that's why it's cool to have him a part of this because he'll play stuff that Jeff and I'll just be like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, no idea.
We'll stop playing games before we play that.
All right, so let's get on to one of Todd's here.
Oh, by the way, I just want to mention real quick. I always forget that Clark Commando 1983 is Mark. Probably doesn't want me to say that. Anyway, I'm sending. Everyone send out some positive waves to Mark. He's going through some health stuff, and so pretty serious stuff. So send him your positive vibes to everybody. All right, so let me tell you a little bit how I rate things. I get made fun of at work. I get made fun of a lot of areas and a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is the way I rate things. So I'll watch a movie, whatever, insert popular movie, and people are like, "Oh, what'd you think of blah blah blah?" And I'll be like, "Huh." And if you're doing the A through F thing, A is great and F is a fail. I'll be like, "I'll give it a C," and they're all freaking out, like, "C? What do you mean?" I was like, "No, I enjoyed it. It was fine. It was good. It was average. I mean, I'm So if I and that doesn't even mean I didn't enjoy it. So as I did this rating system, I don't know, you can't really see here because it's so small, but I took this thing that Jeff wanted to do. Appearance, well, not Jeff, we came up with it together. Appearance, components, rulebook, all these things that Jeff talked about. And I did the percentage of the rating of it. So appearance and components is a 0.1, rulebook is a 0.3, and then I rated each thing 1 through 5 and multiplied it, blah, blah, blah. Math. Anyway, I did that. So that's how I came up with my ratings. So the first game I want to talk about, and I really like, Jeff, that you were showing pictures. And if we do this again, I'll probably do that next time. And I apologize, everybody. I got a little bit of a cold. So I'm going to talk about OCS Burma. I played that in April with the guys at this small gathering of gamers in St. Louis that I'm not inviting Jeff or McMurray to because it's private and they're cool. And I don't want my reputation ruined, so I'm not inviting them. So I've only played the only other full game of OCS I played, and I did not play the full OCS Burma campaign or the game we played. We weren't playing the campaign. It's really tough to do, and we played it over 4 days. The only other one I played was with Blitzkrieg Legend with Jeff. You can see it on my channel for 2 hours. I might have played you know what? That's not true. I did play some other Blitzkrieg Legend with Brian and the dudes from Canada a little bit, but Jeff and I actually played that whole scenario because we played a small one, but just kind of, he helped me out. Really, I played it solo. So OCS Burma was interesting. So, I'm not going to give my score for all these. I'll just give you the total at the end, but appearance and components. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, it's OCS, some people like it. Some people don't. It's functional. It works. They're fine. I mean, they're good, right? They last. The rule book is pretty good. I mean, OCS is known. They keep revising it. So, I feel, you almost feel silly. Like, I mean, it stands the test of time. It's 50 pages, but it's pretty clear. Dean Essex about just clarity and not repeating things. And there's a good crew. And my 2 guys that were playing, they knew the rules. So that helps. Sequence of play and game mechanics. Well, I mean, it's very procedural. You follow a very certain set, which is, I kind of like that. I don't know if we were using it, but there's like even cards for each step. And I like that. It keeps you in, especially for learning it. You can just go through it. Now, and the game mechanics, which is where I'll throw this into, that's where that game gets hard. Watch Gamer Hudson as he's going through Blitzkrieg Legend, and he's right. He says, okay, so, it's moving and combat and supply, but how all those things work together and how the phases work together and when to do things and when not to do things, that's where it gets hard. Like there's so many choices you could make. Like that small scenario that Jeff and I played, it was like, I can't imagine playing this on the whole map. This is enough of a decision cycle in this little box. Well, OCS Burma was interesting because it was very claustrophobic because it's in the jungles and mountains. Everything was like range 1 and 2. I'm someone who's could probably talk about the action ratings and all this stuff. Anyway, it was cool, and it was fun playing with these two guys. They're very cool, casual dudes playing it. I wouldn't say we were helping each other, but I mean, helping opponents, but we kind of were. It's kind of the way OCS is. So anyway, it was a pretty cool game. Now, I say all that in the scale. I mean, it's fine. I didn't go crazy. That's why I gave it a 0.1. And replayability is very good. Just because there's so much that can happen. There's so much that you can do and change. And solo ability, that's tougher. OCS is tough to solo just because of the size, I think. There's not a lot, there's relatively no hidden information. And I forget what's in a stack in an SCS game. So I'm definitely going to forget what's in a stack in an OCS game from turn to turn. So let's lower this down here, lower my little curtain here. I gave it a 2.7. So now don't freak out and think that's a bad rating. It's not a bad rating. I would punch and clip this game because I rounded that up to a 3. So it's a 3. I would punch and clip this game.
Rounding.
That's right. I'd round it up, and I don't own that. That was someone else's game. I don't know if I'll go out of my way to buy it, only because it's so different. I mean, that's what's cool about OCS, I think. So I've got like some West Front stuff, and
there was no maneuverability really in this game. Like you said, it's claustrophobic. You weren't.
Oh, no way,
dude. You have a bunch of tank units and busting out over the countryside in this game here. This was all in close in, and
you can't even take your people cross country. I mean, you got to go stick to the trails and stuff.
Well, in the scenario that you played, were the objectives like way out there, or was everything fairly close?
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Well, what do you think? Let me see. Hey, Rich is in here. Reese is in here. Reese, good to see you, buddy. Nord, he's in. E4, Walt,
I don't remember
doing, brother?
Yeah, we got some good people catching up on here. I don't remember, Jeff, what the objectives were. I have no idea. Probably holding certain towns, but
right.
But the cool thing was you did have choices, though. I do want to state that, like, because the trail system, you could send people over this way and go this way, or I just remember I had. So who's in that game? Is it Chindits? Is it Chindits British and Japanese? Probably I think it's the Chindits. I had some Chindits. Shoo, boy, those boys are hardcore. Like the Japanese guy just kept pounding his head against my Chindits, and it broke the player morale a little bit because it was frustrating because he would attack and my guys would just be like, okay, whatever, bro, and bounce him off.
And using wagons and mules to push supply around, and not much air power, I would imagine.
No, and supply's even a little weird because which is one reason people liked it as a beginning game because you're so limited to what you can do. You're very tight. So it's cool for that. Especially if you like the that theater, which is not a theater I normally focus on, but it was fun and of course, because I had 2 people playing, it was a good time. So OCS Burma, number 3 or 1 or whatever you want to talk about. I gave it a 3.
Now there is one I don't even know what the word I want to use is. I made myself not put any GBACW titles on here because that's my passion, and if I did that, they would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I left and believe me, on my list here, I've got like 4 of them on here. even an older one. So I won't be talking about any of the GBACWs in this list because y'all know I play that stuff all the time. All right. So let's see where my second one was.
Hey, real quick. First of all, you got the girls coming on. You want to get rid of those.
Let me get the links first.
Hey, thanks, Steve, on the OCS thing. It's Burma 2, John. It's the second whatever. It was the newer box, the one that Jeff showed.
Oh, I didn't know there was 2 versions of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just they updated it, I think. John could probably tell us. So
Nord, we'll talk about that musket and pipe because somebody was kind enough to send me the original versions of that. So, all right. So what is my next one? This is one that somebody's going to be seeing here shortly. So let me bring it up here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby.
Aachen. Woo-hoo. All right. Let me tell you something. I seriously enjoyed this game. I did. It's, I think when I started to play it, I expected somewhere in here to be a breakout in Sherman's running all over the place. And most of the German forces are fairly weak. I mean, in the front line there in front of Aachen itself. And, you've got, I think it's 116th Panzer, which is hovering around there. And then they get yanked off the map. But they come back with their full force. In my playthrough of it, let's see if I can find it. Well, in the picture you're looking at here, the Germans up here on the top, there's 2 whole divisions, I think, that come in along these lines up top there on the map. And I like to play these games with trying to not see what the reinforcement table is. Just trying to understand what the victory conditions are, what the objectives are, and how to defend those objectives. So I pulled the troops off that upper line, and 3 divisions of Americans arrived, 2 armor divisions and an infantry division. And that pretty much sealed my fate as far as the Germans getting their back ends handed to them. And by the time 116th Panzer came on, it was a little too late. Now, granted, the Germans did hold on because I could not take that far lower group of victory hexes down in the bottom right corner of the map. I'd have to go back and look at the map. I'm pretty sure the Germans hung on to one, it just barely. But the system for this game, it's not chit pull. It is, you're going to pick whatever unit you want to move, but you have a chart that you have a counter on. And every activation, you move this counter up. Now, if it's an American activation, then the activation counter is going to be on the German side. And it's going to increase +2, +3, +4. And you'll add that to the die roll for each activation. And then you have a list of how many activations a unit or a formation gets. And you have a chart where the little counter on there, like say for 1st Infantry Division, they might start off with 8. And then you use 1 to do the division. And then you roll a dice to see how many actual units or how many actions you can take. And then that chart will start dwindling down and your die rolls your activation number gets less and less and less the farther down their little chart you go. I'm sorry, I can't remember all the names. But, and then if you burn all their activations, if you use every one of those things, they only get so many back for the next turn. And it was really hard for the Germans because a unit that had 4, if he used all 4 of them, he was only going to get 2 back on the next turn. So, yeah, and Mark, thank you, because Rich Champion, he sent me Piercing the Right, and I have that, and you're the second person I've heard talk about that. And there's the Desert one too. I understand has a remake too, but this game was fun. Don't expect to just blow through this game. Although I'm going to sit here and tell you, it's not going to take you forever in a week to play it. But this was a very fun game. And I gave this thing on my list here, I gave it where'd you write it at? Come on, knucklehead. I gave it a 4, which is, I wish I would have bought 2 copies of this. Unfortunately for me, I didn't buy it. The guys at VUCA Simulations were kind enough to send me 3 games for free to test play. And this is the one I got to test play. So
what score did you give it?
Huh?
What score did you give it?
I gave it a 4.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So it's well worth it. And I'm sending Theseus up to Rich and Donnerschlag up to Rich, and I'm sending you the Aachen game so you can give it a go through and play it. I like the
Cool.
system. I do. I like the components of the game. Mounted map, good large counters. Very, 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 very nice game. So I think you're going to enjoy that. I think the two that I'm sending you, you're going to enjoy both of them. I think you'll really like this one though. So that would be my second one.
I liked what I was saying. I liked what I was seeing. The user experience seemed really good for all their games seem really good. Like they really think things through about how things work.
Well, and Nathan, the wise guy, he just did his final review like less than 24 hours ago, and he just posted that video. And he, Nathan is that professor boy. He gives a great thing on the game. So,
did you like it?
Oh yeah, he did. I kind of was just sort of listening out of the corner of my eye while I was doing something else. So
I got it.
I know he had some qualms with there was something he didn't like about it, and I want to say it was on the because you know me, when I play a game, I want to have breakthroughs. I want to have tanks rolling in behind the lines as fast as they can. This game, this is not going to be no OCS, all right. But you're playing what he called it a monster game on a single map with a low counter density. So and that was a great explanation.
It's interesting because that is what McMurray said about his next game,
which is
McMurray Stalingrad Pocket 2. The good old school MMP SCS or Standard Combat Series game, Stalingrad Pocket 2. I think this is the one he said was like Goldilocks. Is that the one?
He did say Goldilocks. Yeah, I remember that.
Everything was just right. He it's a one mapper. I'll just tell you what he said because he said that same exact thing. He said felt more like a monster game than another game we're going to talk about of his. And it's one mapper because for him, his games he's played are usually a little smaller than this. And there are a lot of counters in that game. I mean, look just right there. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Look at that. And most of the games he plays are not that dense. And I think the stacking can get up pretty high. And again, doesn't normally play that. Of course, he played the full campaign, the full game, all 15, 16, whatever turns it is. That doesn't look like much there in that picture, but
that's Hope's attack.
But he did make it through it. There were a couple times he got discouraged just because it's a slog, especially that middle game, that mid game where you're just like got stacks of 5, 8 against each other. And you're just like rolling dice and it's like, nothing's happening. You're losing stuff, right? Both sides lose stuff. And it's frustrating because you think Jeff likes breakthroughs. McMurray wants breakthroughs. He wants the game.
Really good things with the Germans against the Soviet headquarters units.
Really? What was that? Do you remember?
He took 2 of them out. Matter of fact, this picture here in that top left corner, when he moved his Soviets in for the attack, he didn't have enough to cover the gap, and he sent some panzer units in behind to take out a headquarters. And they took out another Soviet headquarters later, which jacks up supply.
Yeah, so McMurray's really good at he's good at playing the game, whatever the game is. So, and trust me, the guy knows history. He knows it better than I do, but by far, and he's 20 years younger than me. He's 20 years younger than me. He's been playing games for 20 years. I mean, and he's a good game player. So he'll do things. I tend to do things that I think are the way they're supposed to be done in real world. He says, well, the game allows you to do this. I'm doing this, which you could be like, well, but it's a game, So I'm not saying he breaks any rules or anything. He doesn't do, I honestly never feel like he's even doing gamey stuff. He's just like, this is the game. And the point of the game is to win. Now, it's really crazy when he's soloing, which he does all the time, except for one time, which we'll talk about. He pretty much grinds down both sides to their nubs. In fact, I'm surprised there's even counters left in the game when he's done with it. Yeah. So he had fun. It was a challenge because of the side. He did get discouraged. I'm going too long here. He was the stacks kind of bugged him, but he really enjoyed the experience overall. I don't know how soon he'll get this back to the table, but he did give it 4 winter coats, but no boots. So he gave it a 4 winter coats and no boots.
That game, I played that campaign a while back, and that thing is I think he actually enjoyed it 10 times more than I did. It just didn't do it for me.
Right.
There's the full setup. Jeez.
I've only played one of the small scenarios, and that was a million years ago. It's on my channel, but I do want to get it out again. What's so funny about that is it not as much as Fallschirmjäger, but it's one that people seem to talk about. They used to. I don't think it's less now, but they used to talk about that one so fondly, like, oh, Stalingrad Pocket 2, it's the best. Right. I think what some people like about it is it's kind of like OCS, and that you got that east front and front lines grinding against each other, but it's not OCS. So right. I think that's one reason people liked it. You know, so
Steve, I've already videoed 2 or 3 of those for the Revolution.
Yeah,
John Longshore, good to see you, buddy.
Revolution is really good. What's up, John?
All right, so what's next on Todd's hit list?
Oh well, it's going to be anyway. Jeff's not played this one yet, and it's not been going well for Jeff in this series, but Stalingrad 42. So we moved from Stalingrad Pocket to Stalingrad 42, which you can play that whole Stalingrad Pocket. You can play that Stalingrad Pocket kind of scenario or campaign in that, which is pretty cool. So that would be fun to do that. Play it in both games and talk about it. In fact, I've now got a pretty good collection. I could probably do it in several games. Actually, I don't know if I do, because the victory series don't cover that part of the game. Anyway, Stalingrad 42. It's a Mark Simonich game. It's as part of his Zachbond, Simonich 4X or whatever you want to call it, 194X. So it's GMT. You're pretty much not going to argue unless you just don't like the look of their stuff. It's your standard maps and rule appearance of the counters and all that. Here, I gotta get off this. The counters look good. They're clean. They punch well. I played an 8-turn scenario, I think, and sucked as the Germans because I was forgetting to do stuff. They introduce, actually, I don't know if they introduced things. There's oh gosh, dang it!
You played that setup right there, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah, that looks familiar. I feel like I played the one map scenario.
Once you conquered that that second combat stuff or whatever it was you were talking about.
What was that? What's that called? Yeah, once I conquered that, it was better. But you need to understand that. I was just talking about the game. You need to understand that game part of the game to do well as the Germans. So I did like what I like about Simonich is he and the team, they do add things to the system. Like, it's a developing, growing system, right? Comparing it to when he first started doing this, like his breakthrough combat, I think is what it's called. I don't know if this someone in the chat will know. I don't know if this is the first game that he did that in. I feel like it's not. Yeah, Nordic. I think we all have the general tweezers. I often take the flashlight out, though. As I get older, it's in there more. So the counters look good. All that stuff is good. I'm stalling here. So the rule book, very clear. Simonich. The system, as it develops and matures, it's getting better, right? So what I struggled with when I played Normandy 44 many years ago, which you can see on my channel, I played the whole. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but what was frustrating to me was I had to keep flipping back and forth because there's the cool thing about it. It's a fairly straightforward system, but he puts lots of nice little chrome bits in there so that it differentiates, right? So that units are a little different, and there's some little different things that make you think. So that's cool. So it's not an easy game. It's not SCS by any stretch, but I had to flip back and forth, and that drove me freaking crazy. And I liked Normandy 44 a lot. So. But I think he's learned, and the team's learned, the development team, to include like references and things like that. So I had to do that less, and some of the play aids are better. So that's really cool that they're learning. So sequence of play and game mechanics. Sequence of play. It's just kind of standard. It's I go, you go. So the whole side goes, and the other whole side goes. the game mechanic, the big thing is the Zoc bond. I feel like the breakthrough combat was cool. You can disrupt them and they go back 4 hexes and it's not disrupt is not the term, but so there's some cool things there. Replayability and soloability. It is soloability. It's very soloable because there's not very much hidden information. Replayability, it's good just because it really is going to take a few playings to get it figured out. And they already added an expansion to it, which I think was Operation Saturn. Would that be right? Maybe.
Yeah, the expansion Saturn and Winter Storm.
Yeah, which I got. I haven't done anything with that yet. But I mean, what's cool is I just played the 8 turn, and you got the whole campaign. So I think I just played on the top map. I don't think I even played on the bottom map.
Did they have Uranus in there? Did they have a scenario for that?
Don't talk about that. Oh, which I don't remember. Which one is that? Is that the one that
same Stalingrad Pocket 2? Did they have that scenario in? Okay.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay.
Because I think it goes from 42 into 43.
Right.
Pretty sure. There's also a cool thing they added because of Stalingrad, something about city. There's some city fighting things, right? Which I think is in there. I didn't obviously get there because I wasn't playing that part of it. But so again, there's just some advancements and things he's learning. Scale is fine. I mean, I don't know, what are they, divisions and regiments or something? I don't know. But see, to me, the Zocbon's always been probably my favorite kind of operational level because it's not OCS. It's not crazy. You can get it on the table. I mean, you can't really compare the two systems, but if you get what I mean, it's kind of large scale because I'm usually a tactical guy. And so it's pretty cool. Let's get to my rating. Let's quit messing around. I gave it all the scores, tallied it up, and I gave it a 3.1 or 3. So I would punch and clip this game. So I gave it same thing as OCS Burma, just a little bit lower. I think probably because it's a little newer game, right? A little newer systems. Right. And it's, kind of some of the refinements, but they're both good games. And the 4X series is continuing. North Africa's coming out, and I think they're going to add in something else to Salerno so you can keep doing Italy. So cool stuff. That is that game.
I will say all my commentary for the Simonich 4X series for a later time in the show. John, wouldn't that be like me playing a Civil War game with infantry running up into the face of cannons, firing canister? Chuck, I don't have. Okay, so they have the caucus scenario. Okay, that would be cool. I would probably do that.
Well, so it'll be interesting for you to play this.
The first game in the system?
Oh, really? Well, actually, I don't know that. I don't honestly know that.
John's saying that.
It will be interesting for you to play East Front because that's your front and see what you think of it because you're struggling with this 4X game. So
yeah. That's why I'm still that there's still hope out there. All right, so let's go through one more of our honorable mentions here, and I'll start with the one I got here. And I just played this one recently, so let me flip over here. There we go. Rich, thank you for sending me this game. Okay, so I'm going to make this statement right off the bat here. So my favorite Bulge game in this, and when I say this, it's because it only comes from games that I've played, and I haven't played it in years, was the SPI Wacht am Rhein. That is still, to me, the ultimate Bulge game because I have not played any other large. I've messed around with the Goss, but not the Wacht am Rhein, and maybe eventually I'll get to that. Time for Trumpets. I've got Bitterwoods sitting over here, and I've got a Wave of Terror that Rich sent me. I got a bunch of Bulge games that I haven't played, and I made the statement once I got done playing this game here that I'm done with the Battle of the Bulge until December next year, and it'll probably be Ardennes 2. Hopefully, will be in my hands before it gets here. Which I've already played Ardennes 1, which was my favorite Bulge game of the smaller footprint games until I played this game. So if you're hiding this thing anywhere in your house and you've got this and you haven't played it, you need to play this game. I was trying to stay away from playing it. Rich kept telling me, you need to play that. You need to play that. You need to play that. So I played it and I fell in love with this game. All right. And it's this right here is what did it for me. This little chart.
What the heck is that?
So you have, of course, there's your timetable, obviously, in the middle. All right. But you have these zones and then you have these areas. on the side of the map. And the Germans have to take these things. I mean, okay, so put it this way. How many times do you play a game where your victory conditions are very minimal, or your victory conditions are like, especially in Bulge games, you need to take these river crossings by a certain time, or games where you need to kill so many units and do a victory point thing. Well, this one here has about 5 or 6 different sets of victory conditions where you can attain a win. And of course, it's based on the Germans. So the Germans have 5 or 6 ways that they can acquire a victory, and just maybe at a different scale depending on what they do. Like, for example, the map is broken into quarters, and there might be one victory condition where, you know what, they don't take any of those zones on the side of the map, but they clear all 4 quarters of the map. There's a victory. And it's probably going to be a major one because that means they've got the mirrors crossings and everything else. Or maybe they got to clear out 1/4 of the map and take 5 zones. All right. Now, the Germans cannot take the areas on the outside, the far outside, the X, Y, and Z, but they can take everything from A to H. And I thought, so that means you're taking units and you're moving them off the map into these zones. All right. But the thing with these zones is you treat them like you're defending in a fort. So it's hard to drive a unit out of. So once the Germans take them, if you put enough strength in there, they do pretty well, with one exception is you have a stacking point limit for an attack, which is, I think it's 7 points. And that applies to 99.9% of the game, except for if the Americans are attacking one of those zones. They can use everything they've got that is adjacent to that zone. And that means either on the map or in one of the areas coming in, or a zone that's adjacent. So I had a blast with this game. The Germans did win it. I can't remember what it was. I think they took half of that. Put it this way, this is not a Bulge game where, okay, go take Bastogne, go take a river crossing, go take Liège, game's over. All right, it had multiple options which you could change to on the fly. And for a game that's older, it's not an ugly game. Let me see if I can get to a map here somewhere. No, not going to let me do that. It's not an ugly game at all. It's a very, very, very good game. We got to find some pictures here. Here we go. I mean, when you look at that picture right there, whose games does that look like right there?
Seminage.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a more Seminage game, right? So, I mean, I don't know. Let me go back to the front here. Chester Hendricks, and I had some people know him, and they've played things with him too. Terran Games. Let's see who did some of the work on this, if it'll show me.
John, I was kind of from that view, and I did a little bit more reading into the Battle of the Bulge, and and I think it's the stories. I think the stories of the Bulge are what capture people's attention, because there's so much stuff that happened in there. And
that's right. It was Mark that told me about Chester test playing, bringing that thing to meetups and stuff. This is a good game. Yeah, it's a one map good game. And like I say, of all the Bulge games that I've had my hands on in the last couple of years and played, like I said, not played any of the big ones, this one has served me the best. This one in Ardennes from MMP served me the best. So I gave this game.
Oh yeah.
I gave it, well, where did I write it down at? I gave it a 3, but this might have been pushed to a 3.5. So definitely punch and clip this game. So if you've got this and you haven't played this, you really need to do it. It is not hard to learn. The rules are actually very easy, and you're going to see rules in this game that you probably just will never see in anything else you play.
Well, that's cool.
He did what a phenomenal job on this thing right here. It stunned the daylights out of me. So, and I'm glad Rich convinced me to play it. So now it's done. Now it means I'm about to play Wave of Terror eventually. So, but actually, I'm done with Bulge right now, and that is that'll be the last of my mediocres. Let's go. Let's get one more from you and McMurray, and then we'll move on to our fun stuff.
So McMurray's last honorable mention was It Never Snows, the 4 mapper. He and I played it in September or something like that. September and October. he said it was cool to have that much map that was manageable. So this is the game he was talking about that he's compared to Stalingrad Pocket. He goes, I feel like Stalingrad Pocket was a bigger game, and probably had, you can probably look it up. You know, it's not hard. We can look on BGG, but he said, I feel like it has as many counters or more than It Never Snows had in a tiny space, because the stacking in, you know, It Never Snows is like 2 or 3 or something. It was a map that was manageable, you know, is deep enough to have some fun, some strategy things to think about, and the road march to kind of throw things off in a loop. And he had a good time. Well, I got to save some of these comments because that comes up later, but he had a good time playing it. He likes SCS. He's, you know, that's probably one of his favorite systems. And it was a fun way to play Market Garden all at once, you know, in one big. It's just fun seeing that whole thing set up from the beginning of 30 core to, you know, Arnhem. And so he gave this game 4.5 bridges. 4.5 bridges.
So only 1 bridge too less.
Yeah, so it wasn't too far. Wasn't a bridge too far. No, so he enjoyed that very much.
That's a good rating.
It may come up later.
I'd still like to play that. Look at that table. Reminds me of Highway to the Right. I could never play that full-blown thing.
Yeah, we'll talk. We're going to talk more about It Never Snows, so I'll leave it at that for now.
All right.
All right. My last honorable mention is a game called Fighting Formations, the Kharkov expansion. So there's the Fighting Formations, Gross Deutschland, and then they added the Kharkov battles. 1, just to expand the game a little bit, and 2, to give it some smaller battles, because that was a complaint a lot of people had. Now, I gotta tell you, I'm a Chad Kai Jensen just fanboy. I don't know these people, and you know, Chad passed away a couple of years ago, at the same time my dad did, so it kind of hit close to home. And then following Kai's, you know, growth through that, because she's still in the game community. That was his wife, and she's working right now to develop more fighting formations that Chad had already started working on. So she and some other people are working on that. I had owned it a little while ago, and then doing as I do, my lease ran out, and I bought it and sold it probably 4 or 5 times. And they're coming out with 29th Infantry Division 1 sometime. It's on pre-order. So I wanted to try it again. And I wanted to promote it because I don't know her, but I think Kai is a pretty cool person. So I wanted to support the work she's doing. So I was trying to promote that a little bit to get some of the pre-orders up. So Fighting Formations. Appearance and components. The maps are Chad Jensen's specials. I would say they're functional like Squad Leader. They got the terrain, and you're going to use the terrain that you use the terrain. The counters are nice and big. The tanks are cool because they're long counters. Some people don't like them because you flip them around to turn them, and they end up being upside down. Maybe top down would have been better, but they're not. But they look nice, and the nice big counters are kind of cool and different. It's GMT again, so it's good stuff. The rule book, I'm going to brag on Chad Jensen rule books from here till the day I die. But that and Combat Commander, I think, are some of the best rule books written. They answer questions. They're very clear. I don't know if he was a UX guy in the computer world, but that guy knows I'm sure with Kai's help and others, knew how to look at user experience and how people played his game. He didn't just look at did the sequence of play work, but he looked at do the components work the way that people play them. Sequence of play is cool. In game mechanics, this is where it's different. You got the ordered system, which is pretty cool, where you have 10 blocks and you roll dice and you place them in the commands, and you pay for the command. So like if it might cost the Soviets 4 to fire and the Germans 3. So if it's the Russians' turn, they pull the 4. They pull if there's a cube on the 4, they pull it, and it costs 4 initiative points. So the initiative thing is always moving back and forth. So the Russians might get one set of commands, and it moves into the German area. But if the Germans react to that and with fire and stuff, it moves it back over to the Soviet side. So it's a really cool back and forth, and you have to make those decisions. Do I want to op fire, or do I want to keep that initiative? That could be a dilemma. So there's a lot of questions there. So it's a cool sequence of play. It's very different. So Chad's designed some Euro games. Definitely has some Euro components in it with that, I think. It uses maybe as low as D6. I don't think it goes lower than that. So I think it uses D6 to D12 or D20 maybe, or just D12. So it's kind of cool. It uses a sliding dice system. It's kind of cool for like range and other things. Replayability is great. Huh?
You're waiting for, what's the next one to come out?
29th Infantry Division.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to watch you play this, and I think it was painful for you to have to take it down when you were done because the holidays were coming in. But you were having a blast with this. As a matter of fact, come to think, the only probably comment in the down direction I heard you make, we were talking about the tank counters because of the way you had to face them. Not that they're ugly counters, just the way they had to be faced was kind of a pain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just, I think I'd rather top down, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's not going to keep me from playing the game.
Right. Yeah, you had fun with this. I know you did.
The games can take a while because of the way the orders work. And, you could do stuff with everybody each time you pull a cube. It's going to cost initiative, but you can do stuff. So it's pretty cool. So each counter is a platoon, but they can break down into squads pretty easily. So that's kind of cool. The scale is different. You don't see that very often. Replayability is there because you're going to have different cubes that come up. Solo ability is a little tougher because they do include hidden information sometimes. You can kind of work around that, and when you're soloing it doesn't really matter, but it would add a little bit of tension if you're playing somebody else. I would be interested in playing this against someone just to see what the tension's like with the cube system. Anyway, so it's pretty cool. I rated all those things, and I gave this bad boy a 3.8. So he's a 4. Or I should have bought 2 copies. Well, I kind of did buy 2 copies. I just got rid of one of them before I bought the other one.
Yeah, just in different time errors.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. The first time I had it, I remember playing it, and I remember setting up another scenario, and I just couldn't get myself to play it again. And so when they were coming out with another one, and I started kind of thinking and watching some videos, I'm like, I wonder what. And so I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the time of life or other stuff going on or what, but I really did enjoy it. Jeff's right. Maybe it was the shorter scenarios helped. But so now you
were into it. You were into if you get a chance to watch Todd play live, when he's talking to himself about what's going on the board, he's wrapped. He can't even talk to us. He's so wrapped up in what he's doing. So I just kind of sit there and watch and see. And like I say, I've seen him do this with quite a few games over the last 2 years where he's really wrapped up in the game. And he did. This is the last one that I saw him play. Got a chance to watch him play. Well, sort of live. At least I was watching live, and he was really wrapped up in this game, and almost so much that I was actually looking at it. And he saved my soul because I have all this squad leader starter kit stuff, and that's all I need.
Well, maybe what I should do is maybe I should send, when 29th comes out, maybe I should send these to you since it's East Front and Kharkov and all that.
Yeah, you're right. It is East Front. All right, so before we get to our
top
down
game.
Yeah. How about just a couple of, no real discussion, but what's another couple games that you played that they were worth playing? If you have a couple
They
of
were.
down. Yeah.
Oh man. I mean,
So you moved this year and you had a lot of
that was last year I moved. That was 21 I moved.
It's been that long?
I know. A year and 2 months. I had a kid move back in and there's some stuff. Can you go over a couple? Let me look at my list here real quick. And
all right, so a couple that I played that I really enjoyed, and I'm going to get back in. And matter of fact, Walt has sent me some. Rich has sent me some. The Library of Napoleonic Games from OSG, that intro battle theme, that just took a big chunk out of me. That said that game was really, really fun. And now I've got 3 or 4 more that I can play now, which I will get around to playing those. Barbarossa Army Group North. Y'all, everybody knows what I feel about that whole series of games. I love it. It can be tedious, especially when you're playing a campaign. The scenarios are cool to play in that game, but I don't know, man. When I put something East Front up, like these computer games I got right now, I want to play the whole shindig. I want to play the whole. Now, I mean, maybe not all of North, Central, and South all at the same time. You've got a game that could be done in. So, I messed around with the Glory system, played First Bull Run after watching Camp Sawyer play some of that stuff. And then, of course, my playthrough of the Guderian Blitzkrieg 1 using the original rules.
Oh, yeah, you like that a lot.
I thought that was just as awesome as it could be. And then any of my GBACW stuff, of course, I'm messing with Line of Battle stuff right now, too. So, how about the rest of y'all out there while Todd's wrapping off a couple? What was the those of y'all that can remember, what was the best game you played last year that you had the most fun with?
So while they're typing some stuff in, which please do, I played a little bit of BCS last year. I'm trying to like that system. It's I'm having a hard time. I played that SCS North Africa, and that's going to be a game I replay again this year because I played a short scenario and it's got some really cool features for an SCS game, and I wasn't getting it. Something didn't sync. Another miniature game I played was Iron Cross. I really liked that again. I got into bigger battles, so Fistful of Lead, which Chris always talks about on his channel. Bigger battles. Really enjoyed playing that. Kind of going through my videos here to see what stood out to me.
JBX, how you doing?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Iron Cross. Oh, it's not a game. So Autumn for Barbarossa. I'm going to have to watch this is why I watch my videos, everybody. So I go back and I watch, like, what did I really think of that? I don't recall really enjoying it, but I'm going to have to go back and see. But
yeah, because I mean, that was okay. Well, now it's you haven't played it yet, but you just bought the bigger sister, identical game.
Smolensk.
In a bigger version. Yeah. So, and I mean, the map is the same. It's the same map.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. John said Empire of the Sun. John, did you play Empire of the Sun? Nord played Brazen Chariots, the battles for the Tobruk, and he played the Hunters, the Hunted. Let's see what else we got here. Steve-O, Kaiser Krieg. Yeah, I hear a lot of good stuff about that one. Dual Britannia was fun. The 2-player version of Britannia. Okay. World at War. Mark, you played World at War? Because I see that all the time, and I keep thinking about when I see a copy that somebody's had, even if it's old or whatever. It might be a little outside of my realm because there's more than just the military aspect, the fighting aspect of it, from what I understand. Musket and Pike. Steve, Rich sent me his first versions of that stuff, so I've got a couple of those over there. Which, matter of fact, I just sorted them out the other night and was starting to highlight the rules at work. Every Sunday online. Why am I not seeing this, Mark? Kilroy, how you doing, brother? Salerno 43. Okay, all right. Napoleon's Last Gamble for Nord. Yeah, I got that's going to be good. Rome Incorporated. Nice. All right. Did Andrew have any that we missed that weren't his big dogs? Or did we get everything? He played a lot of mini stuff too, though. You're muted, Toddley. You're muted.
Sorry. No. Yeah, he didn't really share any information with us.
All right.
About other games. He played a ton of games. That's going to be something we talk about here in just a minute. So,
all right. Do we want to do our superstar or our?
I think we save the superstars for last. We got a couple other topics you want to talk about, kind of the dud and then our experience, or do you want to save the experience for last? Whichever. I think we.
Yeah, let's save the experience. Dark Summer, great game. Tank Duel, there you go. GBOH, nice. Chris B. Chris, he's the first one to rat me out when I was playing a PC game. Hey, Chris, I'll have you know that I have a few more that I bought from the John Tiller group. No, John, we do not play Raccoon Tycoon here, buddy. That's strictly for Michigan people. You and Rich should get together and play that. All right, so let's do. I'm almost afraid to say mine because I'm going to get bashed by a whole bunch of people. What was McMurray's dud? Did he have a dud? What was his dud?
He did have a dud. I wish someone was on watching this right now because they would get kind of a shout out here. McMurray's dud was Medwar, Sicily. He said basically, well, I'll give his he didn't even give it a number, but I'll give his thing here. He didn't like it at all. He played the whole thing. The map's not pretty. The counters aren't pretty. The rules aren't pretty. He goes, I was just going through the motions, but I completed it, he said. Another reason he didn't like it is it almost killed one of his friends. If you don't know what that is, everybody, well, I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, he gave it 1 army noodles with ketchup and no meatballs. He did not like that game, but he played the whole thing. The reason he played it is because did he get that sent to him from Warmut?
No, Warmut sent it to me, and then I sent it to McMurray.
Okay.
I tried to play it, and then I packed it up.
Yeah, I owned it for a second because at one point did I send it to? I wonder if I sent that to him.
Well, I sent it to it came from me to you.
I know, but I owned it, but I didn't. I think I bought it because it was Sicily. I was like, oh, sweet Sicily, and then I was like, oh, and I think I don't even know what I did with it. I think I burnt it. No, Brian actually, Warmud ordered it, and when he did, I was thinking that is not a good game to. So now he doesn't like hex and counter games
at all, right?
All. It's like, yeah, that's why you don't start with a bad game. He didn't even play it. There was other things that went on. Yeah, it's from Worthington.
Clay Stone can't message on here, but he's watching the show right now, and I knew he would. I'm surprised he didn't say the Europa stuff he's playing right now because Clay, he only plays monster things or fantasy football stuff. So
yeah,
but he said the Twilight in the East from the 1914 series sitting right over there. So that was McMurray's bust.
Yeah, don't let me hold on. Don't show my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, don't share it. I'll just look at it. Well, this is why I'm glad McMurray's not on here. My mad game was one of 2 games: Panzer Grenadier or Chain of Command.
Really?
Yeah. I hope he's not listening. Or Chris. I hope Chris isn't listening either.
He did just message me on Facebook, so I don't.
Ah, great. Well, then we'll focus on Panzer Grenadier. I wanted to like that system because I'm trying to find a platoon level game. So there's Panzer Blitz, there's Nations at War, there's Panzer Grenadier. I wouldn't count fighting formations in that same system. There's the new Panzer Blitz that MMP did because those focus really more on like their scale is bigger than so I don't compare. I feel like I'm missing a couple. I've never played the platoon game.
Mark, that is the game from Worthington. Devil Boats?
It's just I just couldn't. I got the casino one, so I wasn't going to play any of their geographic game or geomorphic games. I was going to play I got their casino and their France one because they're on historical maps, which I like most. And I just tried and I just couldn't. And there's a great following. They have a great community. And I'm not going to I don't give it a score. I don't like to crap on games normally. Right. I mean, I don't like crap on games because everyone's got their thing, right?
Yeah.
And
I don't know if we've ever looked at a game like that. I don't think I've ever heard you. We may not like a game, but if we don't like it, it's because it didn't grab us and say, keep playing me.
Yeah. So I'm just not like, I don't think I have any videos on Panzer Grenadier, really, because I just didn't like it. And so it just didn't sync with me. I don't know what it is. I keep trying to find the game in that scale. Like I got Nations at War again to try it. And I got to be honest right now, I'm kind of like, maybe I just don't like games at that scale. I don't know. So, yeah. So that's where I am. We'll talk about Chain of Command in just a minute. But that's my meh game. What's your meh game?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, boy.
You know, it's funny, Mark. I don't
Well,
even own any Worthingtons, although I'd like to try the 2 Civil War ones just to see.
Mark, I'm with you. I don't know what it is about that. Anyway,
it's well, the 2 Civil War games look nice. Now, Rich, are you saying TCS was the dud, or TCS is your one you played, or I want to say I know you've been messing with it. Ancient Conquest 1975 from Excalibur. I think I own 1 or 2 of those. Matter of fact, I think Rich sent me 1 or 2 of those. Enemy Action Kharkov. Now, I've played pieces of Enemy Action Ardennes, which actually I did kind of like it. I'll eventually have to play that again, and because I thought about buying the Kharkov one. I have Panzer Grenadier that was sent to me from Matt Ward. Actually, sent me one of the original versions of that. No, he sent me Panzer Command. I'm sorry, Panzer Command. Now I do have an Avalanche game that I started to play, and that was it was Italy. It had Salerno in it. The Rich sent me, and it's really not really a bad game. I just never didn't. I think I took it off the table for some reason or something like that. All right, here we go. My dud. Please don't crucify me. All right. The only reason these are great games. Okay. I have played 3 of them, and only one of the 3 have given me a warm, fuzzy feeling. All right. So the one that's a bust for me from this past year is Holland 44 that I just played. I'm sorry. I for some beautiful game, beautiful map, brought it down to a scale that anybody could put on a table. Nice big counters to look at. It's really, I mean, when you put the 2 together, it's really like 1 1/4 maps or something like that. And everything is there. The rules are fine. If somebody else has an issue with the Simonich 4X games, and you know what the issue is, tell me so maybe I can figure out what the hell the issue is I'm having with it. Because France 40, I loved that game. Now, Todd has an opinion already on why France 40 did it for me, but Ardennes 44, which I actually sent that to McMurray, and then I said, you know what, send it back to me so I can at least have it in a collection. So, and they did. They sent it back to me. But Holland 44, which I love Market Garden, just did not do it for me. I can't. I was literally on the verge of saying, you know, screw this. I'm selling all of them. But as Todd said, I still have 2 East Front games left to play, and another one called Salerno 43 that will probably never come out of the box, even though I took it out to clip it and punch it and all that stuff. And I've got Normandy 44. So I'm hoping that Ukraine 43, Stalingrad 42, and Normandy 44 will save me, because if those 3 are good, that means it'll be 4-2 or 4-3, and the system will win for me because I loved France 40. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. Sorry, Mark Simonich out there, brother. You make beautiful stuff.
Wow.
Clay says on Facebook that he agrees about Guderian's Blitzkrieg 1. The original rules are awesome, and they were phenomenal. Let's see what I miss here. Worthington has about 6 to 8 Civil War era games. I'm going to have to go look closer than I guess, Mike. Okay, so there's our duds. Yeah, you know, it's funny, Steve-O, because almost everybody I talk to loves it. That a lot of people think it's the best in the system. And like I say, I know it's not the system, because I think it's an awesome system. I don't know. I kind of got used to Zockbond. It's different. All right. Let's go to our ace in the hole. The best game, the game that we thought was the number 1 played game for each of one of us for 2022. Let's start with what was McMurray's.
McMurray's was, and you won't agree. You won't agree with this at all. War at Sea, the Avalon Hill game, naval. He loves. I do wish he was on here for this, because he could really get into it, and he would. He you know. So the things I'm going to tell you are like super high level. Good mechanics, quick play, but not too quick. Medium level complexity rules from what he's used to. I don't know. I've never played it. Enough replayability. It's just he likes naval stuff, and he wants to make that. I think that's the one he wants to make into miniature, like make it a miniature board, because it's just segments, and do the ships. He would do a great job with it. He loved it. He loved. I remember him talking about that, and he thought it was the greatest thing. sliced bread, and he does want to put that on a miniatures convention sometime.
Well, didn't he picked up? Okay, so he had one that was the Atlantic, right? And then he picked up the Pacific one, another sister version of that. Weren't they like the same system?
Well, Ward C is the Atlantic.
Right. And it had the area boxes where he was.
Yeah.
And then the Pacific one, I think he said because it included carriers and aircraft and stuff like that, was a little. He never did. I don't think he ever finished.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right,
he just really loved it.
What was your ace of spades for the year? Oh, get it out.
He rated it a 5, a Montana class, or a 5.
Montana class. Oh, McMurray. Guys like him and Chris, man, just a wealth of knowledge, boy.
Yeah, I know about naval stuff for sure. All right, my ace in the hole was. You can share my screen now if you want.
All right. You want the yellow screen?
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So my ace in the hole, my new favorite SCS game, a victory awaits. No, some of you might be. So some of you might be saying to yourself, SCS? That's not SCS. Well, I think I said in a video, I don't have to say I think, because I did, because it's proof. Rostov 41 is my favorite SCS game. And I think I saw Charles said that or something, or Charles said he liked it or something. Anyway, I don't know. Someone will correct me. I'm like, why did I like it so much? So I've got to play it again to be like, why is that? Because right now I can't remember. Anyway, so it's a joke. So wait, am I coming through double?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard myself. Okay. I am hearing myself.
Uh-oh.
Oh, weird. Oh, I think I know what's
Did the
going on.
doctor take you off that medicine?
Oh, boy. Hold on. Weird.
You're good on this end.
Okay.
Oh, you are coming through double, says Nord. Well, hold on. I don't think that's the problem, but let me move my microphone. So, try now.
Don't share my... Okay, how about that? Nope. Oh, weird.
Huh.
Why am I coming through double? I wasn't coming through double before.
I don't know. That is strange because it's not coming through double to me.
Weird. Maybe I need to whisper into my mic. Okay. Anyway. Hold on. How about stop sharing my screen here? JBX says it sounds okay to him. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Seems okay now.
Okay.
Try it again. Try it one more time.
Oh, man, I'm hearing a double. So, I'm going to do something dangerous and mute you. Okay. All right. So victory awaits. My favorite SCS game. Well, I only say that because it's about the same level of complexity as SCS. And I didn't really think about that until I started playing this second round. So is it still echoing? It shouldn't still be echoing. I've turned off Jeff, so I don't think that's anyway. So if Jeff, you're talking, I can't hear you. Okay. So, I had a victory denied, victory lost. The lease ran out. They're gone. Jeff had him. He was a sweetheart dude and did just to me, what is a goofy trade. I'd say they're equal in value because I did look at it, but I sent him a game and he sent me the 3 games and he's a goofball. He didn't even play this game. Well, thank you, Casca. I am fine. Oh, wait, you mean my sound's fine? They mean I was fine. And this is great having Jeff muted. I can't hear him. So I actually show you the scores I gave these appearance and components. I gave it a 3. I mean, it's pretty average. I mean, they look nice. They're very clear, very big and clear. I used the counters. They also provide silhouettes for the armored, which is cool. It's a nice way to differentiate because there are some different rules about them. The map is just very functional. Rulebook I gave a 4 because it's pretty straightforward and it seemed very clear to me. There wasn't a lot of questions. Sequence of play, I really like it because it's a chit draw. Now, here's a funny thing. I played Nations at War and I was like, I don't know if I like chit draw. I played this one, I liked it. I think I like chit draw if there's a lot of stuff. It can make for long turns. But it's pretty cool because things get to go multiple times. There's not as much choice. There is for the Soviets, but not for the Germans as much. So you can decide what you want in the count in the cup, but the Germans don't really have much choice. They pretty much everything in, which is good for them. The Soviets have so much stuff that they have some choice. So that's kind of cool what you can put in the cup to draw. So that's cool. Replayability, great, because the chit draw is going to be different every time. Solo ability, same. Because the chit draw, it's almost better. Solo ability. Now, the scale is cool because it's the whole East Front. It's Barbarossa. The only other game that covers Barbarossa like that, well, this is not true. There's a lot of games that cover Barbarossa, but that cover the whole thing would be that series that Jeff talked about, when that's a completely complex system, whereas this is not. So it's just cool. It's pretty straightforward combat. And you have to think about where you place things. And it was pretty cool because my units got way ahead of the headquarters. So the Germans lost steam just like they did. And I've been kind of reading up on some stuff, and it seems to reflect the early war East Front pretty cool. Now, here's the cool thing. Basically, when you buy this game, I didn't buy it. I had it pre-ordered and I took it off because my lease ran out, so I couldn't buy it on the other Victory game. Jeff bought it. I don't know how much it was, $40, $50 or whatever, $60 maybe. But you get 3 games essentially with this. You get North Front, Central, and Southern Front. So that's pretty cool. I played this Center, Army Group Center, because that's what Jeff said I should play because he hadn't seen videos on it. So I played it, and it was cool. And so you can play each of those separately. And each game, I think, has a short and a long scenario. And I feel like there's another one. So I think there's like 6. And then you can combine all the maps and play the whole East Front from Leningrad down to Rostov or whatever this southern point is. The whole thing. And then they have rules for how to do the chit draw with that, so that if you were playing with a bunch of people, you wouldn't be waiting. I do want to try this. It is one of my goals. I think I want to try that whole thing. And I would do it. I think McMurray should play it. It's, I think he'd enjoy it. It's SCS level, and I think he would enjoy it. It's the same kind of concept. My voice is going, so I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to bring you back, Jeff, so I can hear you.
All right. So, John, we need to hurry up. John's overseas. We've got to get this last one in. I'll give it to you here in just a second, John, real quick. Mark, Todd and I both are talking about the TCS system, along with BCS and OCS, going through that this year. I've already started to learn it. I love that system for what little of it I know right now. I do like it very much.
Well, so Mark, I've been thinking the same thing. I would like TCS to be that. It's historical maps. Yeah, I'm with you.
A victory awaits, Mike. Is what he was talking about.
Yeah, I think I kind of, because of the sound. It's a victory awaits. It's the new one by Tetsuya Nakamura. Ooh, boy, I hope I got that name right. Did a victory denied victory. Anyway, these were magazine games, and then they're become this. It's great. I hope they do more games. It took forever to get, though, so I don't know if they'll do it, but I would recommend getting it. It's a lot of games.
Yeah, and eventually Todd and I will flip-flop back where I'll get a chance 2 or 3 years from now to play that thing. Unless a magazine. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm not sending it. I'm not sending it.
All right, here we go. All right, last one. Those of you that can think fast, you should be able to type in there what my favorite game of this past year was, and I'll give you a hint. The designer gave it to me for free, a signature edition.
Oh, I know it. Oh, shoot. Do I know it? Oh, do I know it? I don't know if I know it.
You should know it, because I played it a good. I played 50% of it. Yep, Kilroy got it. So
Yeah,
a
that's
most
right.
fearful sacrifice, Herman Luttman's game. Man, phenomenal game. Phenomenal game. It's a big ass box, heavy box. Rick Barber maps. In my opinion, the only maps in this world that should always be hard mounted are Rick Barber maps. Just
Amen.
gorgeous, beautiful counters. The card game. Hexy played a card game and enjoyed the card game. The
How
Fog of
integral
War.
are the cards to the game?
Oh, that you can't. Well, you could play them with a. I guess you could skip it up by a dice roll, but no, because your activations are all off of these cards. So you might, depending on how you would get units to do it, to do something, or a unit may not be able to do something, or you pull a card for a division, and then you got to roll a dice against that card to see what is able to be activated. And put it this way, it can be an epic fail for a unit, much like what I'm playing now with this line of battle stuff. You're in a zone of control unless you're forced out, or you skedaddle, or you're given orders to get out. You're not moving out of that zone of control, and that can happen in that game where you just can't. You got something you need to move, and then you're thinking to yourself when you pull that card, "Damn it, I can't do that." So I'm going to fire with a unit. Oh man, I got cannons right in this guy's face, but I need to move this unit over here out of the way. The decisions are tough. Yes, and it was Gettysburg North. Great game. Buddy of mine down in Winchester, one of the guys that I'm test playing GBACW's Wilderness game. I brought it down there for him to look at and try to play it. I did not pre-order the second one. Unfortunately, I wished I had. If I did not, I know I can get an update for it. But man, just the Black Swan? Oh, I can't remember. He's got 3 systems because he's got that new one.
Something Swan.
Yeah. But what a great, great game. If you have your chance to get your hands on, or you've got it and you haven't set up and play it, get it up, play a scenario, play the Longstreet scenario, play the first day scenario. There's 23 or is it 13? 13 or 23 scenarios in that box. That game got a 5. I wished I could have given it more than 5. So, but I didn't. It's a 5. That's one that I would take home to meet mom, that game. Awesome game. So there you had it. There's all 5 right there. I don't know what we got going forward this year. I know Todd and I are talking a lot about we want to play Decision at Else, the squad leader, the ASL starter kit, historical game. We want to play that. We want to do some BCS. We want to do some great campaigns of the American Civil War. Todd's played one scenario of that. Clay's asking me about what my thoughts are on line of battle. It's no GBACW. But if you want something to play smooth, fast, you don't have to think a lot with the sequence of play. I've already got it memorized. I don't need to think about it anymore. That's a good one to go. If you want crunch in detail, you go play GBACW. All right. BCS, TCS, OCS. I think you're going to dabble with some GTS here before long. GCACW. I'm going to go. I got some more GBACW. I want to play some more of this line of battle stuff. I want to play some more CWBS stuff. There's just, come on, there's 300 plus games here. I know some of you have more than that, but the hottest one in my brain right now, it's been there for 2 months now, is TCS. I really want to master that system because, boy, that's a tactical, just my initial opinion, that's a tactical genius of a game system. I really think it is. All right, how about you going out of here? What else you got? You're looking forward to this coming year?
What am I looking forward? You can not. Here.
Oh, we forgot our special moment of the year.
We did. Let me. I can share my screen real quick about what I want to play.
All right.
Let's try that again. See if we can, double up the sound or whatever happened there.
You got it, Mark.
I'm sharing my screen. I'm going to show it up there.
Steve, are you talking about AMFS? Because I haven't really been following much on it. And if any of y'all ever get out this way and we're going to go up to Gettysburg, hey, send me a message because I'm only an hour from Gettysburg.
Wow, Mark, that's pretty cool. I hope you enjoy it. It's a lot of pressure, man. Can you share my screen real quick? It's on there. So these are my goals. I covered this on my channel, but I didn't have it typed out when I did this. But I'm gonna see my thoughts on this. You can go check it out. But these are my gaming goals. So SCS, OCS, TCS. It's going to be an MMP year. ASL. Want to play one of the victory games again. I got a GTS campaign I'm playing on that April thing, but we're going to start getting together. We're going to play one of the longest campaign games. We don't expect to finish it, but we're going to try to do the landings and some stuff between now and April as a way to kind of also learn the system so we can know it as well as we can. There's a couple guys running it. Ty is running it for us. He's writing in that magazine that's coming out, the GTS magazine that's coming out. I game with only the top names in gaming. I just want to let you know. No humble brag. GCACW with the man himself. There is a guy here who likes it so much that he's got his license plate that says GCACW, so that'll be cool. Here's some of Hexy's favorite games: Ardennes and Holland 44, the Battle for Normandy, random games from Jeff or otherwise. Got a 6mm D-Day project, Fistful of Lead, Bigger Battles, Fistful of Toads, which I'm playing next weekend, and an undisclosed project.
Oh, a secret project?
Yep. So now you want to talk about our experience?
Yeah, I can't really put my finger. I mean, the test playing of the Wilderness game, which I'm going to be going back to that here. I'll probably play one of Longstreet's scenarios. I need to get that back on the table. I got to pull up see if they made any new rules adjustments. They've got that game fine-tuned pretty good, and now they're just weeding out maybe errata changes, I think. I don't know what else they're going to change in it. That would have to, I mean, a lot of the games I played, I had a blast with a bunch of them. I really wished I could have kept Guderian's Blitzkrieg going or Army Group North from Barbarossa going. But after so long, you know, it is. The brain goes somewhere else and you need to move on to something else. So, yes, sir, Casca. That's exactly right.
Oh, that's cool. That'll be cool, Nordic.
All right. What's your moment?
I do have a quick question. A couple of them, actually. So is the most fearful sacrifice? Do you think that's one I should try or not? I mean, you know how I am.
As much as I'd love to see you do that, I'm going to say for you, no.
So don't even get a lease out on it.
No, because I mean, it's not. I mean, you know, if it came across your path and you set up a small. Have you played any of the other smaller ones from Revolution?
I played a little bit of Stonewall's Sword or whatever it was. Stonewall's.
What'd you think of that?
I struggle with it a little bit, but I think my mind wasn't into it. Well, I mean, that's
easier. You know. That's slightly easier than this system.
Yeah, so I need to just play it with somebody. I'm sure someone here's got it or something. I can probably play a game with them. The only reason it's a little bit more tactical, right? It's way more tactical than GCACW.
Right.
Which I think would be kind of fun because then you can kind of, I don't know. Okay, that answers that. I don't need to do it. What was my next question? What were you talking about? You were talking about games your experience.
Your moment.
Yeah, I thought I had another question for you. Anyway, all right. So let me give you McMurray's moment. He had two kind of honorable mention. I'll give this honorable mention. At around Christmas time, sometime in December, he had like a week or 10 days off, which is crazy for him because he's usually he gets like 2 days off, 3 days off, and he's working for 5. You know, he had like 10 days off. That guy played a game a night.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, we'll be on Facebook Messenger chatting, Chris and I, and whoever else, and if we're lucky, we get John from England on there. I mean, sometimes we stay up too late.
Yes.
Well, McMurray works night shift stuff, so he's used to staying up late. So he drags those old timers up too late. The guy will start a game at 2 a.m. and play the whole thing. And so we'll get pictures at the beginning. He'll be setting it up while we're talking. Start playing it while we're talking. One time he finished a game while we were talking, but most of the time we get pictures at 4 a.m. on Facebook Messenger. It says, well, I finished the game. Germans won, whatever. Soviets won, whatever. it's like we're all just like, what the heck? I mean, okay. Anyway, so he did a game a night for like 10 days straight. He said that was a very fun experience for him. But his most bestest experience was playing It Never Snows with little Toddy Poo Poo, little wardrobe in his garage. So McMurray's got an old house that his family's owned forever, and it's a little tiny St. Louis. Well, I probably shouldn't say all this. Anyway, little tiny place. But he's got a huge garage in the back. And we started playing in September with the weather in St. Louis area is pretty nice in the fall because the humidity goes down and the temperatures are pretty good. We had a couple of cold nights, but anyway, we played in his garage. So it's a huge garage. You shut the door one night. A few of the nights we played with it open. So, and then when it was time for the secret wrestling camp, we shut the door.
You got to understand McMurray's train of thought. McMurray's out there on a branch that nobody else is on. But he is
McMurray
a riot.
He just said, I like playing with Todd, and then maybe I'll talk about the secret wrestling camp. Anywho. He liked it a lot. One, because it was such a huge game. He's never played a game that big as far as Hex Encounter. He also has never played a Hex Encounter game with someone. He solos all the Hex Encounter games he plays, but usually when he plays miniatures, he's playing against somebody. He rarely solos miniature games unless he's testing out a scenario for a convention or something. So that's an interesting thing. That would actually be something interesting to talk to him about. Like, you know, why he does and doesn't solo. And anyway, but so he played with me and we played together. Like we played both sides. You know, we could have actually done it like Mighty Endeavor, but we didn't. Anyway, we kind of narrowed down, like we eventually kind of picked sections that we played just because we were familiar with the sections. Like he played a lot of the 30 core stuff and I played the Arnhem area. But then we kind of switched places. But so we played it solo together. But he said it was a really cool experience. And he likes just playing and rolling dice with people. That's his thing. He's like that for a long time. But in Hex Encounter, he'd never done it. And so he liked that. It also helped keep him motivated. And me too. Because if I were solo, I don't think I could solo that. That's a lot of game.
Yeah.
So he liked that and being able to, and we could laugh together about the dumb rolls and the dumb things we did and that kind of stuff. So that was his top one.
Steve O says there, if you gave Blind Swords the system you were playing with Stonewall, if you were to get that under your belt, you might find that system is actually pretty good. The only Civil War game you've played, though, is the campaign one that you and I played, that scenario. And that's because I think that we liked it because it was operational at an operational level, which is really cool. What was your moment?
Okay, my moment. Yeah, I think my wife's coming in here. She's like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. So lights might be going out, might be losing here. So I had really 3 experiences that were really cool. That Burma game I told you about. I actually played through a whole campaign of 6 games of Chain of Command, Gemblow Gap with McMurray here at the house. But I had all the terrain. So we actually could make all the tables like they were designed in the game. Very cool experience. He kicked my butt. I mean, like destroyed me. So, but with that was a very fun experience. But my favorite experience was the same. And we didn't work on this together. And it wasn't because of Secret Wrestling Camp. It was It Never Snows. Because, again, I don't think I would have played a game that large. I wouldn't have finished it. Especially solo. I mean, it's just, and you get kind of to that middle game, like I was talking about earlier, Stalingrad Pocket, and any game, even that game, you're just like, ugh, why do I want to keep going? But we did, and I think we didn't play the last turn because it was the British one or the Allies.
Yeah, you had obtained the victory conditions, so
yeah, and the Germans were not going to clear them out; they just weren't going to. So anyway, so mine was It Never Snows. It's all the same reasons, so I don't need to repeat it.
Right.
It was cool, and it's fun going over there in the garage, and we'd have chips and salsa out there, and his garage that is, family had owned.
That's
for
one thing I tell you what, I
years.
think that guy completed more games in 1 week than we've completed in 3 years. He just
100%.
knocks the bar. He's one of those guys. He's just steadfast, and he just plays them to for the most part complete. And if he doesn't, he doesn't like it. Clay Stone said he just bought 5 of the great campaigns, the American Civil War games, and he's trying to get them on the table. All right, so look, we're going to appreciate this. This was a first shot at this, trying to figure out, if we want to try to do something regular, and we're not going to compete with the Players Aid and Ardwolf and Mo and those guys in their show, but maybe you get a different look, different perspective, and we're not necessarily going to be talking about new games. It's going to be stuff that we played. It might be old, because I got a lot of old stuff in here, and I know Todd's got a lot of stuff floating around. And Todd changes games out like socks, so he's always got something different, something new to look at. And McMurray, come on, you want to get somebody that's shooting video playing Avalon Hill. Just if it's American Civil War and McMurray's playing, or maybe Napoleon, you'll see it on my channel, the videos he does. And if it's World War II, maybe World War I, you'll see it on Todd's channel. He doesn't have a channel, but McMurray actually gives a good battlefield report when he's talking about the stuff. And come on, he's doing this crap at 3 and 4 in the morning, giving us these reports, and he'll play a whole game in one night. But hey, thank y'all for coming on here this evening. Do it again. I'll post it out at least a week ahead of time, so you know. And if you got some good ideas for us, hey, send them off to us. Send them off to one of us, to something we can talk about, or something maybe we can do for you to help you, if it's learn something or help you understand something. Always willing to do that. You know me, I love Civil War, American Civil War. Todd loves World War II. Thank all y'all for being here tonight, and we'll talk to y'all later. See ya.
See ya.